So just a disclaimer, I don't have, any super complicated or super personal questions or anything like
Okay.
that. So it should be fairly quick, and you can get to the rest of your night and
All right.
enjoying the film festival.
Yeah.
So,
Sounds good.
okay, ready? Hi, guys, it's me here, and guess who I'm sitting with? That's right, I'm with Rob Meyer, the director of Birder's Guide to Everything. So, how are you enjoying the film festival so far?
I'm loving it, actually. It's my first time here to the Austin Film Festival. We've been to 3 panels. We just saw P.T. Anderson, uh, a whole bunch of great writers and directors, and just screened our film for a great audience in the biggest theater with the best picture and sound that this film has ever played at. So it's a real, like, dream come true situation.
That's amazing. So, we just exited from your Q&A session and your film screening, and we talked a little bit about your love for nature and how it inspires you. So, tell me, where did this love for nature come from?
I've always loved wildlife. In fact, my first dream was probably to be a wildlife documentary filmmaker or even an animal behavioralist, if that makes any sense. I read a book
That's original.
by actually Conrad Lorenz is a guy who studied animals, their behavior, how you could teach geese to think you were their mothers and follow you around and teach them how to migrate, and studying how animal behavior could teach us about human behavior. And I loved this book. It was called King Solomon's Ring. I loved it so much that we actually named one of the characters in the movie Lawrence Conrad after Conrad Lorenz, because he's sort of these kids' heroes. So I just always, that's just always been my passion. And I used to work at Nova, the science documentary series, and National Geographic. So wildlife and being in nature and what we can learn from it and be inspired by is always something that's been personal to me.
So something that you rarely see in films, especially these days, is the use of something so simple or something, as airy as birding, to convey a much deeper meaning. And then when you do see it, you rarely see it done successfully. So, what was your main focus in, conveying the accurate meaning or the accurate message in this film?
Yeah, it's a good question. It was a we were always a little nervous about how simple this movie is. Actually, there's not a lot of fancy moving parts or pyrotechnics. It's a very simple story about kids going on a trip into the woods to find something. It deals with very kind of basic but universal human emotions and coping with loss and finding romance. I think we took the details of the birding as something that we held on to really dive into that world and research it and get to know it and make it as realistic as possible as a way to sort of build some sophistication and complexity to what is otherwise a pretty simple story. And then a lot of humor. I think, we always try to find that balance of humor, deadpan, kind of sarcasm to keep people laughing, keep you enjoying the movie while we dealt with some, fairly serious issues, coping with loss and betrayal and a father and son who can't communicate.
That's pretty deep. So I've been talking to people who've actually seen the film, and I've been getting a lot of good positive reviews on it. I don't know if you've heard any yourself, but hearing that people actually like what you've created, something you thought up in your mind, people actually love what you love. How does that feel?
It feels great. I mean, that's why I make films. I started in college. I made a film that was a stupid comedy, kind of slapstick thing. There was a spoof on Indiana Jones. I just got big laughs, and that was enough to get me hooked. They're laughing on something that I think is funny. They think is funny, and it creates a sense of community. I love seeing these movies with audiences and with big audiences, which is why we're so excited that we're going to have a theatrical release for this. But I also always knew this would be a story that there will be some people, and hopefully a lot, for whom it personally really resonates. Maybe there won't, not everyone, but certainly there are people who are like, this is at my wavelength. I totally understand what this kid's going through. I've had a lot of people tell me about how they've dealt with loss, how they have a son, or they've lost a parent, or they love birding. One of our advisors told me he almost got in a huge fight with his dad in a falling out because he almost missed his wedding during his second marriage, coincidentally. So there are always things that sort of tie into people's personal experiences, and that's the most satisfying part of making films.
Cool. So tell me something. We have to know. Are there any future projects that you're thinking of or that are in the works right now? We're dying to know.
Uh, yes, nothing that's immediate. I mean, it's a hard game, this filmmaking business. So I've got a number of projects. Luke and I are writing a number of things. Some for we're pitching to studios, some big kind of broader ideas. Some are more personal. We have a TV pilot that we're excited about that's sort of like Freaks and Geeks, but it's set in the 90s and it deals with kind of more racial issues. I'm looking at reading a lot of books right now that I'd love to adapt, but I don't have the rights to yet, so I don't want to publicly say what they are because I want to get them. And just trying to find my next project, either something that someone else has written that I could jump on board and direct, or do my own project, which would take more time. So I'm trying to find that balance.
Well, I gotta say, I think I speak for the rest of Spiderwood and Spiderwood land out there that we are excited about whatever it is that you're in the works of doing, and we can't, wait to see what you come up with, and we hope to be running across you soon. And thank you so much for talking to me and talking to everyone out there in TV land, and enjoy the rest of the festival.
So much. Thanks.
You guys, we have more to come. Stay tuned.